Y'all, I have a confession to make, and it's shameful. Not shameful in the way that I feel shame, but shameful in the way that, what a shame that I have not done what I thought I was going to do. In 2025, I bought a total of 28 new eyeshadow palettes. It was my intention to do a review video on those palettes, or at least to do some type of get ready with me and create a look. And I only did that with one of those palettes. Just one. Currently in my eyeshadow palette inventory, I have 239 palettes. And as I was going through them, I realized that I have about 91 of those that I've never used. They have never seen an eyeshadow brush. So my eyeshadow palettes are no longer a collection. They are a weight, and they're heavy. So today we're going to go through all of my eyeshadow palettes, do some decluttering, reclaim some of our space, get rid of the weight, and be guilt-free. We're going to start off with my Anastasia Beverly Hills collection. This is the Cosmos palette. It is a beautiful palette. I really enjoy the color story, so I will be keeping that. This is the Fall Romance palette. I love this palette so much. It is such a beautiful color story. I am definitely keeping this one. This is the Jackie Aina palette, and it is a beautiful palette. I'm just not sure that I want to keep it. I cannot decide. I had this in my Shop My Stash, and I did use it, and the formula is fine. I just don't know that I would reach for this palette a lot. I mean, I haven't up to this point, and I'm being brutal. I'm going to declutter this one. This is the Rose Metals palette. I love this palette as well. Beautiful color story. That is me all the way. This one definitely is not going anywhere. The Soft Glam palette. I purchased this palette right before I started my YouTube channel. I have used this palette quite a bit, as you can see. There's quite a bit of disturbance in there. This palette is in a panning project for 2026, so I will definitely be keeping that. And the last palette in the Anastasia Beverly Hills collection is this Norvina. This is Volume 5. I have had quite a few of these Norvina palettes, and I love the formula. I just have not been reaching for this. I love the color story of this palette. There really is no reason that I have not been reaching for it other than that I just have so many palettes. I thought I was going to declutter this one, but as I look at it, I am definitely going to keep it. Moving on to my Ace Beauté collection. This is the Aura palette. Very, very vibrant. I love the color story. Again, not a palette that I have been reaching for. I am really trying to be brutal. I think for now I will move this over into the maybe pile. This is the Envy palette. This came out the same time that the Aura did. Such a vibrant, beautiful color story. I love how grungy this palette is, and these shades are just beautiful. I thought that I was going to declutter this palette, but the more I look at it, oh gosh. I'm going to put that in the maybe pile with the other one, and we'll see. The Palette palette, I was so excited to get this. Renee has a channel, Beauty and More with Renee. We did a very fun collab with this palette, and I'm not sure that I have used it since. I think that I have quite a few of these shades in other palettes. Not that that really matters to me, but am I going to grab just this palette? I am going to say probably not. I am going to declutter this one. Smoky Roses. This is another beautiful palette. I love the color story of this palette as well, but that is not the question. The question is, am I going to use it? I think I am going to declutter this palette as well. The last Ace Beauté palette is this Violet Sage. Again, a beautiful color story. I think I'm going to declutter this one as well. I am very surprised that I decluttered those 3 Ace Beauté palettes. But I really want to just keep the palettes that speak to my soul, you know? The Artemis Palace from Alter Ego. This is a dupe for a Natasha Denona palette, the Metropolis. It is a stunning color story. But as you can see, several of the shades are hard panned. And they feel dry. There's just no color payoff whatsoever. I think the palette is just old. It is starting to have just a little bit of a smell to it. They do still have this palette available on their website, I think that I am going to declutter this one. Their palettes are very reasonably priced, so in the event that I want it again in the future, I can always repurchase. I just purchased these 3 palettes. I just got them. This was a part of the Black Friday sale. So I know I'm keeping these because I just received them. I'm super excited about this Mystique palette. Beautiful, beautiful color story. Before we move on, let me revisit. They're so pretty. I think I'm going to keep these and make it a point to use them in 2026. Next are my Beauty Bay palettes. This is Dark Fantasy. And what does that look like? They are very similar. Are they exactly the same? No, but they are similar. What to do, what to do. I'm going to put this one in the maybe pile for the moment. The Neutral palette. I know for certain that I am keeping this palette. Very pretty palette. And the Midnight palette. This palette is gorgeous, but I just see a ton of shades in here that I am not going to use. For me, this is not a one-look palette. I would have to bring in something else. I mean, I know that there are some lighter tones in here, but this palette does not inspire my soul. So I'm going to declutter it. And that makes me think that I am going to declutter this one as well, because it too does not speak to my soul. I didn't see that coming at all. Next, I have one Bella Beauté Bar palette. This is Smoky Glam. This is new to my collection. I am definitely going to be keeping this. That is a beautiful, beautiful Leanna palette. BH Cosmetics Aura Lights. I have several of these with the baked formulas, and I just never reach for them. I do have some things planned for 2026 though. I mean, look at those colors. I have some all matte neutral palettes too that I could pair with this. I'm going to keep it. The Avocado Toast. How many declutters has this palette survived? I have had this palette since 2021, and if I'm right, I might have used it one time, but it is a very, very pretty palette. I'm keeping it. I don't know why I'm even trying to talk myself into it. I also know that I'm keeping the Blueberry Muffin palette because it is gorgeous, and why wouldn't I? This is the Galaxy Chic. Again, all baked formulas. This one, for some reason, has broken. I don't know how or why that happened. I may have to, I don't know if I can repress. Can you repress a baked shadow? Andy, Donna, do y'all know? I'm going to put this aside and baby it and see if I can't possibly repress that, but I'm definitely going to keep that. The Naughty palette. This palette definitely is not going anywhere. I love this palette. Absolutely gorgeous. Passion in Paris. Another beautiful color story. I thought that I was going to declutter this, but looking at it, I love these berry tones down here, and the blue. All of the shades. All of the shades are very nice. I'm going to keep this one. This is Stellar Collision. Another beautiful baked formula. I just cannot, for the life of me, right at the moment, part with these. Moving on to Blend Bunny. Spoiler alert, I won't be getting rid of any of my Blend Bunny palettes. This is the Dollhouse, and it is gorgeous. Keeping. The Longing palette. Another beautiful color story. I love this palette. I am keeping. The Surge palette. Am I keeping this palette? I mean, I see shades in there that I will use, but I also see shades that I'm not using this neon green, the neon pink. Matter of fact, I don't know that I would use any of the neons. I might use them at Halloween though. I think this palette's going to survive one more declutter, and then we'll see what happens next year. These are new to my collection, and I'm definitely going to be keeping these. This is the Garden of Stars. This is their collab with Ellis, and it is gorgeous. So pretty. This is Origin. This is a all matte that I could use with some of those beautiful baked formulas. I believe this one is an all matte as well. Yes, this is Imperial. So pretty. Keeping. Moving on to Be Perfect. This is the Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette. I decluttered this palette, and Andy told me that I was crazy. So I uncluttered it. I recluttered it. And then she decluttered hers. And I'm like, why did I listen to her? She's not the boss of me. It is such a pretty palette, but I mean, seriously, I am not going to use these shades. I bought this palette because it was all the rage. And it was in the beginning when I first started my channel. Let's see, how long have I had this palette? I bought it in July of 2022. So I'm going to, once again, Andy, declutter this palette. Next is the Antidote Massive 45 pans, but this palette to me has a lot of potential because you have lots of fall tones mixed in with these greens. It's a very pretty palette. I believe that you could do a lot with this. So I'm going to keep this and put it in my rotation. The Be Perfect Gravity palette. I'm definitely keeping this one. I love this cool tone color story. Looking at it, it kind of reminds me of the Anastasia Rose Metals palette. I've already put that back on the shelf, but I need to pull that out and put them side to side and see how they look together. But it reminds me of that now that I'm looking at it. I'm still going to keep it though. These are the unisex palettes from C Color, and I believe that C Color has gone out of business. You used to could get these on Amazon, very, very reasonably priced. Such an amazing formula. These are dupes. One of these, I believe it's the next one, is a dupe for one of the Jeffree Star palettes. I'm not sure what this possibly might be a dupe for, but I love the formula, and I'm definitely going to be keeping both of these. Yeah, this is the Jeffree Star dupe. Anoratum? I can't say it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'll be keeping both of those. Moving on to ColourPop, we're going to start with the Aura Struck. I love this palette. Absolutely gorgeous. I am definitely going to be keeping all of these beautiful shades. Just gorgeous. Next we have the Blowing Smoke palette. I love this little palette. I will definitely be keeping that. Going Coconuts. I believe this was one of the very first ColourPop palettes that I purchased. I love this little palette. I'm definitely going to be keeping that. Heavy Petal. This is a very pretty palette. It has quite a few sequence mattes in it. I'm not crazy about the sequin mattes, but I have not given this palette any love, so I will be keeping that. The High Tide palette. This is a very pretty little colorful palette too. I am definitely keeping that one. Sage the Day. This is another really pretty little palette color story, again with the sequence mattes. I don't know why they do that, but I think this one is probably going to pass another declutter. I may get rid of this one next year. Smoke and Roses, another beautiful ColourPop palette. I mean, these 35 pan palettes are really nice and they have a great formula. I am definitely going to keep this. The So Fly palette. You know, I have to keep it. It has a dragonfly on it. This has some beautiful special shades in it. These two shades here are very nice. That one in the middle, again, with the sequence shade. That one has a little bit more sequence in it than some of the others do, but I'm keeping that. Stone Cold Fox. Do I even need to say that this is not going anywhere? Look at how dirty it is. And it doesn't even look like I've used it that much, but I actually have used it more than I thought. Definitely keeping. The Child, Mandalorian. Another little pretty palette. Kinda looks like some of the others. Yes, I am the cutest in the galaxy. Am I going to keep this? I think I'm going to keep this another year. This may not make it through 2026. And my last ColourPop palette is the Troublemaker palette, and I can tell you that this palette is not going anywhere. I love this palette so much. I have created so many beautiful looks with this palette. They are just so easy to do. Again, with the sequin matte. But isn't it pretty? That one is actually really pretty. It doesn't show up that way when you put it on your eye, but I love this little palette. I'm definitely keeping it. Moving on to Cosmic Brushes. I believe they have rebranded to Cosmic Beauty. This is the Gothic palette. I love this little palette. So beautiful, and the formula is amazing. I'm definitely keeping that. This is the Muse palette. I do not know why I wanted this palette. I think I wanted this palette because so many people were hyping it up. But when I look at it, it does not speak to my soul. I am going to declutter this one. Next is Smolder. This one is new to my collection. I love the color story of this one. This one I am definitely keeping. And my last Cosmic Brush palette is the Winter Wonderland. And my fear tells me to declutter this palette. But this palette actually does speak to my soul, so I'm going to keep it. Danessa Myricks. I have started collecting Danessa Myricks palettes, but makeup as well. I adore her, not only as a brand, but as a person. I think she is a phenomenal person. This is the Blooming Romance, Groundwork Blooming Romance palette, and it is absolutely gorgeous, and I am absolutely keeping it. I am not getting rid of any of my Danessa Myricks. Next is the Lightwork Volume 6. My math teacher would tell you I was not good with numbers. This is a gorgeous palette. I don't know how that happened, but it is beautiful. I love these Freedom palettes where they're so versatile that you can take them out. Even the pans in these are magnetic, so I am definitely keeping. This one is new. It just came out. This is Lightwork Volume 7. This palette is absolutely gorgeous and definitely not going anywhere. I love that this time she put some mattes in here. Beautiful palette. This is her little Freedom palette. You can mix and match these with the others. This is the Pastel Dream. The only thing that I don't like is the reflective and how it really does pick up your fingerprints. This is new as well for 2025. And this is the Lightwork Volume 3, the Experience palette. It is illuminating eye and face, so you can use these as highlighters. They are beautiful shades, and I'm definitely keeping this. I have one little Day Day Signature palettes. This is a little quad. It's called Plum Perfection, and it is such a pretty little palette. I have really enjoyed this palette. Very pretty. I'm keeping that. Next is this Dior Backstage Amber Neutrals. I believe that I decluttered this once, and somehow it has ended up back in my inventory again, but I have not used it. Look at how pretty it is, though. I really do want to give this a good try before I declutter it, so I'm going to keep it. Dominique Cosmetics. I love this Berries and Cream palette. I am definitely not getting rid of it. As you can see in this shade here, there is quite the dip. I don't know if it's showing it. There you go. I love that shade. I have used this palette quite often. I love it. I am definitely keeping. The Latte 2 palette. This is another nice color story. It's very interesting with these shades, but I have not loved on this palette, and it needs to get some love. So I am going to keep it to put it in my rotation, and then it may end up decluttered for 2026. The Transition palette. This is another very nice palette. Absolutely gorgeous. Perfect palette to use when you have all shimmers, or to use with some of your single shimmers and multi or duochromes. This palette performs very well, and I am definitely keeping it. My last Dominique Cosmetics palette is the Unconditional palette, and I decluttered this once, but then I decided to put it back in my inventory. This had like a jelly type glitter shadow there, and I took it out because I was not going to use it, and that was what was keeping me from using this palette. So I am going to put a shade. I have plenty of singles so that I can put a shade here to complement these and have a nice little palette. This would be perfect for travel, so I'm keeping it. Next we have the Inslee Rain Cosmetics Cold Moon palette. This is a beautiful palette. I love this cool tone color story. I'm definitely a cool tone girl, so I am definitely keeping this one. The Hedgehog palette from Inslee Rain. This is so cute. I don't know why I was drawn to this color story, but I am. and I am going to keep this and show it some more love. The Wolf Moon palette from Inslee Rain. This is new. I believe that this came out. Did this come out? Yes, this came out in 2025. Another cool tone color story. I love the shades, and they have an amazing formula, and their special shadows. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous. Keeping. This is the Harvest of Souls palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. Such a beautiful color story, and this palette actually does speak to my soul, even though it has these two shades in it, but I actually really like that shade, and this would be beautiful for like an inner corner. I stuck my finger right in it. Love it. I'm definitely keeping. This is the Ranger palette from Fantasy Cosmetica, and I recreated a very beautiful look with this palette, and I'm excited to use it again. Perfect color story for fall. I'm keeping. I have 3 palettes from Flower Beauty. I got all of these on sale. I think they're originally $20, and I got them all on sale for about $10. I don't know if these are still available. They are gorgeous. I would love to be able to depot these and put them in my singles, because obviously this is not a one and done palette. Look at the coastal lights. Beautiful. They are so buttery soft, just gorgeous. I originally thought I was going to declutter these, but I am going to keep them. Maybe I can get them depotted. Glamlight, The Lord of the Rings. I loved the Lord of the Rings series, so when this palette came out, I had to have it. I have not used it, but I had to have it, and I'm like, do I use it? Do I keep it for a collector's piece? But look at how pretty the color story is. I just love those shades. I don't know what I'm going to do. Typically I don't keep the packaging that they come in, but this was such a beautiful presentation that I had to keep it. So I'm definitely keeping this. I just have not decided, am I using it or am I going to preserve it? I'm probably going to use it. I have this little Gourmand Girls X Cosmic Peaches palette, and I have used this. I believe that I got this in an Ice Cream Beauty box, and I created a beautiful look with it, but I have not used it since, and I don't know that I'm going to. I think I am going to declutter this one. I love my Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes, but I do believe that I am going to declutter both of these. They are really pretty palettes, but they do not speak to my soul, and Huda has a beautiful formula, but I am just not drawn to these palettes. And this little palette reminds me of the Natasha Denona Lila palette, which I would choose to use before I chose this one, so I'm going to declutter both of these. The Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. I am definitely keeping this palette. It is just gorgeous, and I love how cool the shades are in this palette. This is the Pretty Grunge palette. I love this palette. It is so, so pretty. I love all the shades in this palette. I am definitely keeping. Huda Beauty Rose Gold Palette Remastered. This is one of the only palettes. There's only a couple palettes that I kept the shade saver, and I kept this one because it was just too pretty to throw away. I love the shades in this palette. I love these shades here, this kind of berry color. I'm definitely keeping this one. And my last Huda Beauty palette is the Rose Quartz, and I am definitely keeping this palette as well. Absolutely gorgeous. I told a big old fat lie. This is my last Huda Beauty palette, this little baby glowish palette. This is the Amethyst. Perfect for a little purse eyeshadow palette or for traveling. I'm definitely keeping that one as well. Moving on to Jolie Beauty. This is the only Jolie Beauty palette that I have, and there have been several that I have wanted. I just have not pulled the trigger on those, but this is gorgeous. I do not have any desire to use any of these glitters. Even though they're pretty, they are just not my thing. I am not a glitter girl at all. And I have contemplated taking those out. I don't know what I will do, but I am definitely keeping this palette for now. Moving on to my Jeffree Star collection. There were many times on my channel that I did not talk about the Jeffree Star palettes that I have because he is so controversial. But this palette was gifted to me by my daughter, and I am definitely going to keep it. Next is the Cremated palette. I love the cover of this palette. Jeffree Star is an amazing makeup artist. I love the color story in this palette. Some of these special shades are really nice. Are they drying out a little bit? They're starting to dry out a little bit. I really need to use these palettes. I will definitely be putting these in my rotation to be using them. Keeping the Mini Orgy palette. I will definitely be keeping this palette. The Big Orgy palette. Should big and orgy be in the same sentence? Probably not. This as well is a very nice palette. Love all the shades. This would be as well a great companion palette to some of your shimmers and multichromes and duochromes. Definitely keeping this one. The newest Jeffree Star palette to my collection is the Scorpio palette. I got this on sale on Amazon right around my birthday, so I am definitely keeping this one. It is such a pretty palette. The packaging, I like the packaging. It's very pretty. It's textured, and that is raised. I even like, you know, how Jeffree looks and these shades back here. But I do not like it when he does the trunks. They are just bulky. This is not quite as bulky as some of his others, but it is his packaging is always high quality. He knows how to do his packaging, but his formulas are amazing as well. So, very pretty palette. Look at this red. Ooh. And my last little Jeffree Star palette is the Star Ranch. If you know anything about Jeffree, you know he has his own ranch now where he raises cattle, which is pretty cool. He's a big animal lover and animal advocate. This is a very pretty little palette. I love all the blues. Very nice. I'm definitely keeping. Moving on to Juvia's Place, I have the Nubian 3 Coral palette. I love this little palette. I love the color story in this palette. I have used this one quite often. I am keeping. The Coffee Shop. I have not used this palette at all. It has been through several declutters. I have kept it and said I was going to use it. I have not used it. I am going to declutter this one. The Nubian 2. I love the color story in this one. Look at that vibrant blue and that Jezebel shade. This palette definitely speaks to my soul. I was so excited when I got it. And as you can see, it has not been used. I am going to keep it and use it. The Nubian Earth. This is another color story that I really like from Juvia's Place. I do not like that sequence matte. I do like all of the other shades in this palette, so I'm keeping this one. This is the Warrior, another beautiful palette that I was excited to get. All I have done is swatched it. I am going to keep this one and use it. This is KVD, and this is the Moon Garden palette. And this as well is a very pretty color story. I love the packaging, so pretty, very whimsical. I am going to keep this palette. LA Girl, this is Fierce and Wild. Beautiful color story. I really like the layout of this palette. I am definitely going to keep that. I have both of these little 9-pan palettes that were such a cult favorite when they first came out. They're both very pretty. I am definitely going to be keeping both of these. Next we have Laura Geller. She's looking a hot mess. You have heard me bitch and moan about the packaging on this palette. It's just very hard for me to use. I do not like the packaging, but the shadows are phenomenal. So I said in my last video, the tag video that I did, if you haven't watched it, I will put a link up in the iCard, that I was going to depot these. So I did. I depotted the Ultimate palette, and as you can see, that blue shadow broke. But all of the rest of them were super easy to get out of the pan. They're just on those little clay discs, and they have that weird booger glue on them, keeping them in the pan. So I did depot that one, and I'm going to keep these. I'm just going to move those shades to my single inventory. But I have decided not to depot this one. I am going to declutter this one. And I have already listed this in my Mercari store if you're interested. Moving on to Lethal Cosmetics. This is the Night Flower palette, and I love the color story in this palette. It is so pretty, and Lethal has an amazing eyeshadow formula. I am definitely keeping this. I have their Spellcraft palette. This palette is phenomenal. I am definitely keeping this palette. Love the color story. Performed beautifully. Goes well together. Blends easy. Definitely keeping that. And this is the Lethal Cosmetics X Leanna. This is the BYOP that I built on their website. I love this palette. Love the color story. Definitely keeping. The Lorac Pro Palette Artist Edition. This is the Meraki palette. And you can see that this has been very well loved. I love this palette. Performs beautifully. I love that you can move the shadows around if you want. There's a little pin that comes with it. You can push those out, move them around. I kept the shade saver. I almost called it a screensaver to know what the shade names were. Love this palette. Absolutely love it. Definitely keeping. I also have the Lorac Pro Palette Noir, and I am going to declutter this palette. I also had the Fairy Tale Forest palette. I've already decluttered that one. I had tried the formula of this palette. It's just like the one in the Fairy Tale, and it does not perform the same for me as the Meraki palette. I don't know what they did different, but the formula is just not the same. So I have no desire to use this palette, so I'm going to declutter it. Next are my Lunar Beauty palettes. This is the 12 Days of Lunar. This was an advent that he did a couple of years ago at Christmas, and I love the color story of this palette. I think it's beautiful. The shades are magnetic, so you can move them around if you choose to do so. Great formula. I'm keeping. This was one of the first palettes that I got from Lunar Beauty. This is the Greek Goddess palette, and I love the packaging on this. It is absolutely stunning. It does have a very pretty color story. I have not used this palette in quite a while. It's starting to smell just a little off, and I don't know if you can see around these two pans how it's beating up, like the oil is coming out of the shadows. So unfortunately, as much as it pains me to do so, I believe that I'm going to declutter this one. I never thought that I would declutter this palette. Then I have the Moonspell palette. This was, I believe, the second eyeshadow palette that I got from Lunar Beauty, and it as well has a very pretty color story, but it just does not speak to my soul. To be honest, it's very well made and very heavy. The biggest reason I wanted it was because of the packaging, because the packaging definitely speaks to my soul. I love that it's like a little book, like a little spell book, and it has all of the witchy woo-woo stuff going on, but the color story is just not doing it for me. So I am going to, surprisingly, declutter this one. And this is the Nude Prism palette. I love this palette, and this palette is not going anywhere. Absolutely beautiful. Performs beautiful. Keeping. Melt Cosmetics. This is the Rust palette. And Melt Cosmetics has been hit or miss for me. I find their shadows to be very dry and powdery. But I think I'm going to keep this. I have not used it enough to really get to know it. So I'm going to keep it and see what I can do with it. This is the She's in Parties palette from Melt. And I love this color story. This one as well is very powdery, I think. But again, I need to really give it a fair chance to make sure that it's not me before I get rid of it. So I'm keeping this one as well. Now these little Bad Side Zodiac palettes, I have not had any trouble out of these at all. I love this little palette. This is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I am a Scorpio. I love the color story. I have used this quite a bit. Not powdery, no issues with this whatsoever. I am keeping this one. Next is MAC. I went out of order a little bit, but that's okay. This is Connect in Color Encrypted Kryptonite, and it's a pretty palette. I wish that it were magnetic. I love the packaging, very pretty packaging, but this is not a complete look for me. I would have to get, or have had to get, another palette to complete the look the way I want it to look. So I'm going to keep it, but I may try to see if I can depot it, although I hate to mess up the packaging. That's why I wish it were magnetic. This would be a cute little palette to use with my singles. I also have this Whitney Houston palette from MAC, and it is, whoops, it's a very pretty little palette. Again, this is not a complete palette for me. It does not speak to my soul. I did not know that I was going to do this, but I think I'm going to declutter that one. I have two little palettes from NBA Cosmetics. This is Cult of Luna. It's a very pretty little 6-pan palette. I don't think I have used it. It does not look like I have used that one. I know that I used the Forest Nymph, but I think I may have only used it once. That's a very pretty color story. I am going to keep these, but they are definitely on the list to possibly be decluttered in 2026. Back on track now, I have Milani. This is the Bold Obsessions palette. These were some of my very first palettes, and these Milani palettes are exceptional. The formula is amazing. It's so much better than whatever they have going on these days. I do not like their current palettes, but these are phenomenal. Definitely keeping. This is the Most Loved Mattes. Keeping that one. This is Pure Passion. Keeping that one. And the last one is Soft and Sultry. And I am keeping this one as well. Next up is Morphe. This is silver something. Going platinum, not silver at all. Very pretty palette. I have heard that the formula of these little 9-pan palettes is good. I have not used this palette yet. I'm hoping that it is good because their other newer palettes, they changed their formula, did something to it. They are not good at all. I tried them. I sent them back to Ulta for a refund, so I'm keeping this one. And then I have this palette, which is the Fall and Frost. And as you can see, I have loved on this palette a lot. I love this palette. It is such an amazing palette. I am definitely keeping this and all the cat hair that is in the lid. And then we have NARS. This is my only NARS palette. I got this in a chic beauty box, and it does not speak to my soul. I have only swatched it. I like the packaging. The packaging is very nice, but doesn't speak to my soul, so I am going to declutter this one. I have a rather large Natasha Denona collection. This is the Sunset palette. It is just gorgeous. She does not make the packaging like this anymore. Beautiful packaging. So I'm keeping that. My Lila palette. I believe that this is my favorite Natasha Denona palette. I love this palette so much. It's so pretty. Definitely keeping. The Xenon palette. Beautiful. I love this color story. I'm very, very drawn to this for some reason. Maybe the goth in me that never got to come out and play is drawn to this palette. Definitely keeping that. This is the Natasha Denona Retro Glam. This is very pretty, and I believe this is what Mel Thompson was thinking of when she created that palette with Sydney Grace. Very nice. Keeping that. This is the Sunrise palette. This is a beautiful color story as well. Keeping. At this point, I'm just showing them to you. There's no need for me to tell you whether I'm keeping or not, because I am definitely keeping them all. This is the Rocha, or the Roxa palette. The Zendo palette, and my phone. The Glam palette. This was the very first palette that I bought of hers. I love this palette. My Dream palette. This is another favorite of mine. Very pretty. The Yucca palette. This palette is a little outside of my comfort zone, but I do love the color story. This is the Love palette. This as well is a very beautiful palette. The Bronze palette. This is new to my collection. I just got this. It was on sale on Ipsy, I believe. I got this for an amazing price. This is the Retro palette. This is another beautiful palette. Love the color story. The Gold palette. This is new in my collection this year as well. I did not think that this palette would be as pretty as it is. It's much better in person than it is online. Then I have quite a few of her little small palettes. This is the Mini Metropolis. the Mini Starlet. Some of these came in a boxy charm. This is Eyeshadow Palette 5. It really doesn't have a name. Beautiful blues. This is the Cranberry palette. Coral. Ayana. This is Jubilee. The Peak palette. This is a very nice palette as well. Rose and Wood. I love this little palette too. Isn't it satisfying to hear them snap shut? The Peak palette. I said this was Peak, didn't I? This is Cupid. This is the Peak palette. And the last one is Hot Topic. This is a beautiful palette as well. I have two face palettes. I have the Love. Again, the packaging with all of the fingerprints is terrible. That's Love, and this is Glam. We are now into Nomad, and this is my Berlin Underground palette. I love this palette. This, to me, is one of their better formulas. Some of their newer formulas I am just not super impressed with. This is a Sequence Matte right here, but this formula is phenomenal, and I am definitely keeping this palette. Next, I have the Ghost Town USA, and I really liked this palette when I got it. Looking at it now, it is just not speaking to my soul. I mean, it's a pretty palette, but I think I am going to declutter this one. The Okavango Safari palette. This palette is very pretty. I have not used this palette as much as I should. It is really not speaking to me, to tell you the truth. I feel like when I bought most of the Nomad palettes, I bought them because, you know, it was the influencer thing to do, and yeah, I think I'm going to declutter this one as well. This is my last Nomad palette. This is Toscana, and I love this palette. This is a phenomenal formula. I have used this palette quite a bit. I really, really enjoy this palette. This and the Berlin Underground. I have had a lot of Nomad palettes, and I have decluttered every single one of them except for these two. These two that have the older formula. Next, I have the NYX. This is the Modern Dreamer palette. I got this free with purchase, and I like the formula. I just never reach for it. It is a good formula, though. It is somewhat of a rainbow palette. Do I have other rainbow palettes? I'm sure that I do. I think that I'm going to declutter this one. I wasn't expecting that either. Moving on to Odin's Eye. I do like the Odin Eye formula. This is the Norns palette. It is a beautiful color story. This, even though I'm like, oh, red. I mean, that shade is just, it's calling to me for some reason. I am going to keep this one. I have the Little Ghost palette, which was their collab with Angelica Nyqvist. Beautiful palette. Performs absolutely amazing. Love the packaging. It's very soft. Love the colors on the packaging. I'm keeping this one. This is Snow Dream. This as well is a very pretty color story, but I do love the color story, and I'm definitely going to keep it. Next, we have two Persona palettes. We have Identity, and we have Identity 2. I am going to keep both of these, but they are on my list to possibly declutter in 2026. I am going to put them in my rotation and see what happens. Moving on to my Pat McGrath Labs palettes. I have quite a few Pat McGrath palettes. This is Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction. I believe that this was my very first Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, and it was given to me as a gift from my daughter for Mother's Day. So obviously, no matter what happens, this palette will never leave my collection. I have two little small palettes. This is the Celestial Nirvana palette. These are cute little palettes. They perform really nice. The packaging on these is not as luxe as her other palettes, and this is Nude Allure, and this is Celestial Nirvana Bronze Blitz. Bronze Bliss. I can't read. I really do like this palette. It is so, so pretty. I am keeping both of those. Next is the Mothership 1 Subliminal. There are quite a few of these. that I have not used, and I don't know why I'm keeping those boxes. This is gorgeous. Look at that blue. And you know, when I got these palettes, I looked at that blue and thought, nope, never going to use that. And now I'm like, oh, I can't wait to dip into that blue. So I will be revisiting these palettes now that I have learned to love all of that color. This is Mothership 2 Sublime. I haven't even pulled the plastic off of this one. So pretty. I said I was keeping all of these, right? This is Mothership 6 Midnight Sun. Gorgeous. The boxes are starting to fall apart. I probably should really just let them go. They're just so pretty. This is Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. That is gorgeous as well. I don't know where the box is for this one. This is Mothership 11 Sunlit Seduction. I believe this is the one that I got from Ipsy. And the box may have been damaged, or I have it hiding somewhere. I have this Mothership Rose Decadence. Very pretty. This is a blush and eyeshadow palette, and it is Mothership Bouja Brilliance Jewel Temptation. I know I'm not saying that right, but it'll be alright. This is very pretty. I don't know why I have not used this, but it is going on the list to get used. And then I have the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. And I have used this a time or two, but not much. But this is very pretty too. This palette might get decluttered for 2026. I'm going to use it and get familiar with it and see what happens. I have Legends of Land and Sea Chapter 1 from Question Beauty. And I'm not gonna lie, I bought this mostly for the packaging because I love dragons. In the Chinese zodiac, I am a dragon. And this packaging is just stunning. And I love that it's just an acrylic magnetic top lid. The magnet has come out. That's not cool. Let's pop that back in there. Take off the shade saver. It has these little shadow protectors. Now, these shadow protectors are good. I can't get it off. There we go. Just admire the shades and send me good juju that I don't gouge the shadow. Alright, anyway, look at how beautiful that shade is that was hiding under the shade, whatever those are. Cushions, I don't know what they are. It's not picking it up, but that shifts to the most stunning green. These shadows really are beautiful. I'm excited to use this palette. Love the packaging. That fell out again. I'm going to have to get some glue and glue that back in. Anyway, as I was saying, these are good to keep. If you travel and you're taking an eyeshadow palette with you, you can protect your eyeshadows with these. Just get you a little bit of makeup remover on a wipe and clean these off, and then you can use them. Is the green picking up? You can't. That is so green. So I am definitely keeping this. I have this little REM Beauty. This is Smitten Kitten. And it's a cute little palette. I'm not super impressed. I'm going to declutter it. Moving on to Sigma, this is the Ambiance palette. I don't see myself getting rid of any of my Sigma palettes either. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is the Ann Nook palette that she did a collab with Sigma. Look at how beautiful that is. If you don't know who Ann Nook is, she has a channel on YouTube. She does amazing eyeshadow looks. The Core de Rosa palette. This is one of the shade savers that I kept because it was so pretty. Such a pretty palette. Untamed. This has a velvet pattern on it, which loves to attract Dexter's cat hair. This has a pretty shadow saver, shade saver, screen saver. This as well is a very pretty palette. And then I tried to make sure that I had every one of these little 9-pan palettes because they are so good, and they will put these on sale. You can pick these up very reasonable. This is the Electric Pink. Then we have Hazy, Ritzy, Spicy, and Earthy. Next we have Singe Beauty. This is new. Beautiful. I love the color story in this palette, and it performed really well. This is my first Singe Beauty makeup product. Obviously I'm keeping that. Spellbound Beauty. This is the Cult palette. They're very pretty. I have two of these. That's the Cult and this is Coven. Beautiful color stories, but it seems like their shadows are kind of dry. See how that looks kind of patchy? But I'm going to keep these and play with them and see how they perform. These might end up on the 2026 Declutter. Sugar Drizzle, Plumeria Dragon. I believe that this was in an Ice Cream Beauty box. I don't know if this was a collab with them or if it was just in the box. And it's very pretty. And every time I keep it, I've only swatched it. I have not used it. I'm going to put that in the maybe. I don't know. I also have this Dragonfly palette from them. And, I mean, look at that. These two shades here are so intimidating to me. But all the other shades are just gorgeous. I'm going to have to keep this one. I have to. So I think I'm going to declutter this one. I have this Suva Beauty. It's a holographic topper palette. And they're very pretty. These rings are the shade that the topper is. They really are very pretty. I think I am going to keep them, but I want to depot them because I probably would use them better in the capacity of a single, but I am going to keep it. Next, I have the Titanium Fox's Poppy Quiet palette. This is a very pretty palette. I have used it once. I actually recorded a video when I first got it, and I was not thrilled with how the video went, so I did not publish it. But it's a very pretty palette, and I think I am going to keep it. I have a whole stack of Sydney Grace eyeshadow palettes. I love Sydney Grace. They have phenomenal eyeshadows. I have a huge collection of their singles. This is the Be Mine palette I am keeping. This is the Blessed palette, the collab that they did with Mary at Glitzy Fritzy. Gorgeous. Keeping. The Chase Your Dreams palette. Very pretty little palette. I am going to keep this one for now. It may get decluttered in 2026, or I may depot it and put it into my singles. This is the Enduring Love palette, and this was my very first Sydney Grace palette. I love this palette. It is absolutely gorgeous. Definitely keeping that. This is Heaven on Earth. Another beautiful color story. Keeping. Love's Journey. Again, beautiful. Keeping. Mountain Trail. Another beautiful color story. This one as well, like the other little 9-pan, may either get decluttered or depotted. We'll see. Raspberry Kiss. Very pretty. Love this color story. Keeping. I don't think I will depot or declutter that one. This is Unbreakable Bond. Very pretty. Keeping. Where the Wild Things Grow. Another pretty color story. Keeping. I will keep this palette until it completely falls apart or they rip it out of my cold dead hands. I loved Mel Thompson, and this was the palette that she created with Sydney Grace. Gorgeous. Definitely keeping. And then I have these 3 palettes that were the collab that Sydney Grace did with Tim Talia. And I love that these fit together. I know it's not all in the frame as a picture. And that is one of Timtalia's dogs that she lost. So I am keeping these. However, I will probably depot them. I think they're magnetic. Are they? Yes, they are. They are magnetic. So I will probably depot them. I don't know. I may attempt to use the palettes as they are. I feel like I have tried that in the past and it didn't work well, even though they're really pretty. I don't know. Maybe that was before I was embracing the color. They're very pretty. So I'm keeping them. I just don't know what I'm doing with them yet. Too Faced. This is limited edition makeup set. It does not have a palette name. It came in a little kit. I won this in a giveaway, and I mean, it's okay. Nothing to write home about. I'm going to declutter them. I have the Aptly in Love palette, and it is a very pretty palette, and it performs beautifully. It's not speaking to my soul, so I am going to depot that one. This is the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes, and I love this palette so much. It is a beautiful, beautiful palette, and it performs amazing. It's just so warm and cozy, and I love it. Love it. I'm definitely keeping that. Too Faced Cinnamon Swirl. Very pretty little palette. Still smells like cinnamon. Doesn't make my heart sing. Gonna declutter. Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. My daughter told me I had to buy this because this was one of her all-time favorite palettes. Still smells like peaches. And as you can see, I've never used it. Never used it. Do I want to keep it and try it? It just is not calling my name. Not at all. I'm going to declutter it. By the way, that little bitty palette was called You're a Gem. I have this little Touch and Soul Glowdient makeup palette. This came in a subscription box. And it says that it's a face palette. But I have so many highlighters that I did not want to use this as a highlighter face palette. I thought I would use it as an eye topper. I mean, it's very pretty. But I have not used it as such. It's very pretty on the eyes too. I have used it once on my eyes. I just, for some reason, do not want to get rid of this. Let's put it in the rotation and see what happens. We're getting close, y'all. We're almost there. Unearthly Cosmetics. They used to be Alien Cosmetics. They rebranded to Unearthly. This is the In the Dark palette. My daughter bought this for me for my birthday. I'm unsure about this color story, but for now, for sentimental reasons, I'm going to keep it, put it in my rotation, and see what I think about it. It may end up being decluttered. Or, I mean, it's magnetic. I could depot it and use them. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll try it, and then if I can't create a look, a cohesive look with this palette, I'll depot them and add them to my singles and use them that way. Next is the Not Normal palette. I love this little palette. I have used it quite a bit. I intend to keep it because I do like it, so it's going to stay in my inventory. This is the Leather and Lace palette from Unearthly, and I really love the color story in this palette. It is just so grungy and muddy and muted, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm definitely keeping this one. This is the Dead of Night palette. Maybe this is the palette that Brandy bought me for my birthday. I think so, because that's why I kept the box. This one is really pretty. I do like the color story of this one. I am definitely keeping it. And then I just got this palette a day or two before Christmas. Look at the holographic. Very pretty. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Paradise Fallen palette from Ace Beauty. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't know, but the color story is gorgeous. I am super stoked to use it. Obviously, this is staying. Moving on to Urban Decay. I have quite a few Urban Decay palettes. This is the Naked Cherry. I do not know what I want to do. I do like the berry tones, but it doesn't make my soul sing. I think I'm going to declutter that. This is the Naked Heat. This as well does not make my soul sing. I love the packaging. I'm going to declutter that one. Naked Honey. Yep, doesn't make my soul sing. Gonna declutter that one. Naked Reloaded. I love the packaging on this. It's very cushiony. This one is pretty. Do I want to keep this one? I just, the other part of the Urban Decay is the formula to me is just not that impressive for the price. I have not used this palette, but do I want to keep it? Do I want to keep it just for this? I'm going to put it in the maybe pile. The new original Urban Decay Naked palette. I mean, it performed fine, but, you know, it's not, it doesn't wow me. I think I'm going to declutter it. I'm shocked. Naked 3. I have a lot of Urban Decay palettes. I don't even like this packaging. It feels very cheap. I mean, the color story on this is okay. Again, not making my heart sing, so I'm going to declutter that one too. Naked Wild West. Is this one going to make the cut? This one does have some color to it. This was all the rage when it came out, and I have not touched it. And if I have not touched it in all this time, am I going to? Probably not. I'm going to declutter that one as well. I am keeping the prints. I don't know if I'm ever going to use this palette, but I love prints. I love this packaging. It's such cool packaging, but I am going to keep it for the nostalgia. Maybe I should take that out of my inventory since it's more of a showpiece. I don't know. Back to the Naked Reloaded. I'm going to declutter that. I decluttered every single Naked palette except for the prints. I did not see that coming at all. The last stack that I have here is Violet Voss. Are these going to be distracting? This is my whole pile of what I'm decluttering over there. Violet Voss, Olive You Forever. Very pretty. I am going to declutter. This is the Matte Vibes. It is very pretty all matte palette. Is it speaking to me? I don't know. I may keep this and it might end up decluttered later. I love the cool vibes from Violet Voss. This is definitely my jam. So pretty. Performs so well. Love this palette. Violet Voss Taupe Notch. This is a really nice palette as well. It is similar to the Lorac Meraki palette, but it also is different. It reminds me of that, but it's different. I'm going to keep this one. And then I have a few Viseart palettes. This is Violette Intidou. I know I'm probably saying that wrong. Look at how pretty that is. And I have not used this. Why have I not used this palette? I don't know, but I'm keeping it. That needs to get used ASAP. This is the Minette. This one as well has not been used. Beautiful. Still has the cover on it. Keeping. And this gorgeous palette, which I have not used either. This is the Bridal Satin. And they're gorgeous. Look at how pretty they are. Going to keep that too. And finally, I have two palettes from Wicked Widow. This is the Graveyard Smash. I created a beautiful look with this palette. I am going to keep it. It may end up in a future declutter, but for now I'm keeping it. And this one is really pretty as well. I have not used this one yet, but this is the Lovesick. And I'm pretty sure that I got these in an Ice Cream Beauty box. Super cute little palettes. I'm going to keep both of those. An honorable mention, these are still in my inventory. I'm going to take them out of my inventory today because I know I'm not going to use them. These little Wet n Wild, these are the Mega Glow Eyeshadow Trios. These came in a little kit, amethyst, clear quartz, rose quartz, and jade. And some friends gave me these when I first started my channel so that I had content. They wanted me to have content. So they have a very special meaning to me. They're, you know, they're not performing like they did, but I don't have, I have to keep them. They're a part of the history of my YouTube channel, so I have to keep them. But I am going to take them. There's no need for them to be in my inventory. They just need to be in a little Leanna YouTube studio museum. So 41 palettes are gone, and I feel like I can breathe again. However, there's still the issue of the 91, give or take, unused eyeshadow palettes. In an upcoming video, very soon, I'm going to show you each one of those palettes one by one and share with you my plan to use every single one of them in 2026. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your own stuff, show that like button some love so that I know I'm not alone. Subscribe if you'd like to live a little bit more unapologetically, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Okay. Love you. Bye.